Welcome back to the channel, every pony. We have an absolute banger of a video for you here today, going over the reactions to Modern Warfare 4's multiplayer debut, as well as the backlash for engagement optimized matchmaking returning as COD's main matchmaking system for both Black Ops 7 and Modern Warfare 4's closed beta this past weekend. Then we'll wrap up with some leaks from an increasingly credible source, so let's get into it. As we know, first impressions are everything, and from what I observed, MW4's 6v6 multiplayer can be summed up as follows. First, take Black Ops 6's ridiculous aim assist, matchmaking, cramped maps, bad spawns, tweak Omni movement to where you can't sprint or dive in any direction but forward, then include Modern Warfare 2's visual clutter when shooting, comedically slow strafe speeds, time to kill, and weapon attachment downsides, giving you MW4's multiplayer in a nutshell. Essentially, it's the worst of both worlds from recent Modern Warfare and Black Ops games, which definitely doesn't feel like it was in the oven for 4 years. I will, however, give a shout out to Digital Legends for seemingly porting MW4 to Nintendo Switch 2 in a competent manner, achieving 60 FPS both docked and undocked, which is a big improvement from their disastrous performance they did on the now defunct Warzone Mobile. Speaking of mobile, I've seen comparisons for the first time ever to Combat Master, real ball knowledge if you know, which really speaks to how cheap the overall production feels to play and look at. A lot of which can be attributed to lack of factions and visual identity that has plagued COD since Vanguard came out. Like I've said before, the yearly release cycle for COD is the perfect vector for occasional experimentation, yet the series has never been more creatively stagnant. The most intriguing pillar of MW4, DMZ, seems to be the only thing Infinity Ward is keeping under wraps while showing off pretty much everything else about the game, which to me feels like a real miss when you really need to wow audiences for such a competitive year of releases. But of course, we have to address Activision and Microsoft's pivot in regard to matchmaking, a critical component of both multiplayer and DMZ in MW4. As we've seen over this past weekend, and really since the release of Black Ops 7 Season 5, EOMM has been reintroduced as the main matchmaking system for all quick play modes. As marketed in the lead up to BO7, open matchmaking was used for both LTMs and quick play modes, with EOMM contained to a single mosh pit playlist. However, this turned out to be nothing more than a marketing gimmick slash experiment to see if the vocal minority on social media who demanded the removal of EOMM could meet the lofty post-sales expectations to make up for the lackluster debut that BO7 had in terms of both sales and Xbox Game Pass installs. Basically, when it comes to this discourse, there are generally two camps of players. One camp, let's call them the Destiny Dads audience, require modern matchmaking systems such as EOMM in order to be retained and, more importantly, spend money on the game post-launch. The other camp, let's call them the core COD audience, prefer open matchmaking because it is more reminiscent of the older COD games that prioritized ping and time to match over any other factors. After specifically catering the matchmaking to the Destiny Dads audience since 2019, Activision and Microsoft decided BO7 would be advantageous to instead please the core COD audience through utilizing open matchmaking. However, with Activision and Microsoft demonstrating a very dark side Phil-esque blame-shifting logic, this didn't pan out. Now guys, you asked for open matchmaking, so where's the post-launch support? You didn't buy as much CP and Black Cell Battle Passes as the Destiny Dads did when we had EOMM for the past 5 years. What happened? Another thing that really chapped my ass is this fucking snarky, clearly managed by a woman, COD community manager account that's pouring fuel on the fire and making the brand look like a bunch of tone-deaf jackasses. Seriously, taking data from the Nuketown 24/7 playlist at face value, the playlist everyone and their mother is playing exclusively for camo challenges than dipping? Gee, I wonder why the quit rate is so high. At the very least, this effort is slightly better than Ashley the Mime Williams DMs the one community manager in existence who didn't communicate at all. Now, I understand the COD community on social media is pissed off and clowning on this community manager for this decision, but let's put our thinking caps on for a second. If you're Activision and Microsoft, money talks and bullshit walks. GTA 6 is on the horizon, MW4 won't be on Game Pass. You need to make up for the bloated AAA budget. By the way, quick reminder, the last COD that went up against Rockstar North, 2018's Black Ops 4 versus Red Dead 2, it was absolute rape for Call of Duty. Do you really think Activision and Microsoft want the silent yet higher paying majority that is the Destiny dads to fire up the new game with no EOMM only to get pub stomped into the ground on a regular basis? No! They're gonna say, fuck this, refund your game, and fire up GTA 6 without so much a second thought. That said, we're gonna have to see where the pre-order numbers are after the open beta this weekend, which I will unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately, be missing due to traveling to Mare Fair 2026, but more on that later. Let's talk about these new leaks from @GoingDarkCOD, who's been on the rise lately due to contacts with an inside source who has yet to be discovered. So far, he has leaked unrevealed weapons, DMZ mode point of interests, multiplayer modes such as the return of Prisoner Rescue, and interestingly enough, legacy weapons being usable in the next iteration of Warzone that don't support unspecified MW4 features, whatever that means. We'll have to wait to see how these leaks turn out, particularly the conflicting reports about legacy content in Warzone, though Ravensoft is infamously indecisive and changes things at the last minute. As we wrap up this video, I wanted to follow up on some key points from the last video, namely the numerous GTA 6 leaks coming out that spoiled Rockstar's plans for their Netflix gameplay debut, totally deserved by the way, and the clarification that Sledgehammer Games' next COD in 2027 will actually be set in the modern era. But that's all for now. Those interested, your boy Jimmy will be at Mare Fair 2026 this weekend in Orlando for another Renegade stage panel. We'll be having some laughs, and I'll be even giving away a tub of Dubby for whoever can answer a Call of Duty trivia question. Hope to see you there. But yeah, leave a comment down below your opinion of the Modern Warfare 4 beta if you played it, or your opinion on these leaks, and more importantly, have a good day.